And thirdly, you can email our internal vice president, Allie Mills, at her email to receive your PPS t-shirt. And finally, you can keep track of your stamps on our virtual stamp sheet.
Alrighty, so for this week's pharmacy topic of the week, we're going to be talking about something pretty relevant, especially in the realm of pharmacy, which is the opioid overdose crisis. And we think it's pretty important to talk about, considering a lot of medications could lead to substance use disorders and overdose. So what are opioids? These are a class of drugs that are derived from the opium poppy plant, and they're used to relieve pain as prescription pain medications. And a lot of them you might have heard of are hydrocodone, morphine, and fentanyl. So how did this initially happen? Beginning in the late 1900s, pharmaceutical companies reassured the community that patients would not become addicted to these prescription opioid pain relievers. But as a result, these were prescribed at a very high rate, and they led to a widespread misuse before the discovery of its very addictive properties. In fact, just some statistics from March of this year is that 80% of people who use heroin have first misused prescription opioids. So how are we responding to this issue? The National Institute of Health and of the Health and Human Services are focusing its efforts on improving access to treatment and recovery services, and also promoting the use of overdose reversing drugs.
Yes, and to recap our week one general meeting last week, we want to thank everyone for coming out to our meeting with Dr. Kentai. We hope you learned a lot more about independent pharmacy. And if you would like to rewatch the recording, it is available on our Facebook page.
Alrighty, and our next upcoming event next week for week 3 is our general meeting, in which we will be holding a social here, hosted by me and the other amazing fellow interns. We will be playing online Uno, so go ahead and join us next week, Wednesday, April 14th, here on Zoom at 6 p.m. to compete in virtual Uno. And afterwards, we are also hoping to meet up on Discord to play a game of Among Us.
Alrighty, an upcoming event we have is our end of the year banquet. Our lovely historian Harold has prepared a promotional video for us.
Hi everyone, my name is Clayton.
Hi, I'm Michaela.
And we are your social chairs.
It's getting to that time of the year where we announce our biggest event yet.
And what would that event be?
I'm glad you asked. It is the annual PPS End of the Year Banquet. This is where we take a look back at all the events we have done throughout the school year and celebrate all the memories we have made with one another. So Clayton, what should we expect at the banquet this year?
During banquet, we'll be playing some fun games, announcing superlatives, as well as the winner of the Riddle Me This challenge, and so much more. So Michaela, when is banquet?
This year, banquet will be on Saturday, May 22nd at 7 to 10 p.m. on Zoom due to current circumstances. If you're interested in attending, you can sign up via our Google form that will be linked in our email, intro PowerPoint, and website. The last day to fill out the Google form is Friday, May 14th at 11:59 p.m.
There will also be a talent show where you can show off your unique skills such as singing, dancing, or really anything at all. If you're interested in participating, feel free to email us at our emails and indicate on our Google form.
This year's banquet theme is A Magical Night at Disney, and our color schemes are
Blue,
purple,
white,
silver or gray,
and black.
Dressing up is optional, but we highly encourage you to do so.
In addition, we have our equal opportunity drawing where you have the chance to win some amazing prizes. You'll receive a raffle ticket when attending banquet and can earn additional raffle tickets for every filled virtual stamp card. We will also be announcing next year's board, so you don't want to miss out.
Hope to see you all there.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, thank you for that lovely video. Um, so next on to this cool new challenge that we'll be holding after our general meetings is called Riddle Me This. So it's essentially going to be a challenge that we'll be having at the end of each general meeting leading up to our event at the end of the year banquet. So today will be the first day we start, and it will continue after each general meeting. How it's going to work is that after the general meeting, there's going to be a Google form that you can go ahead and fill out. And there will be 3 riddles per week, ranging in different difficulties and point values. You can also get extra points for getting the form in the fastest. And basically, the person that has the most points at the end of the challenge will be getting an extra raffle ticket that goes towards the opportunity raffle at the banquet. So stay tuned for that.
And another upcoming event we have is our UC San Diego at UC Irvine Pharmacy School Mixer, which will take place this upcoming Saturday, April 10th from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. This event will take place on Zoom, and the link will be sent to those who signed up via our Google registration form. At this event, you'll be able to learn about UCSD's unique PharmD program and have a chance to network with their faculty members and current pharmacy students, as well as join us in fun under the sea themed games and possibly win a raffle prize at the end. If you are interested, please fill out this registration form by tonight, Wednesday, April 7th at 11:59 p.m. Paid members will receive a stamp for attending this event. If you have any questions about this event, please direct them to our external vice president, Dana, at her email.
Alrighty, on to our next upcoming event is the University of Hawaii's virtual visit. It's going to be held this Saturday, April 17th from 11 to 12:30. It's going to be held on Zoom, so if you had signed up, you should be receiving a link. We're hoping to learn more about their PharmD program and what the school has to offer for its pharmacy students. If you are interested, you could still fill out the registration form by tonight at 11:59, and paid members will also receive a stamp for attending. If you do have any questions or comments or concerns, you could email Alyssa Mills at her email linked here. And also know that completing the evaluation form does grant you a stamp.
And a volunteering opportunity we have is Letters to Elders and Cards for Hospitalized Kids. This is a wonderful opportunity to offer hope and inspiration by writing letters to those in isolation. You can choose any time you'd like to write a letter or decorate some heartwarming cards for elders and hospitalized kids and brighten their day. Paid members can receive up to 2 stamps total by showing proof of participation and filling out the attached Google form by next Wednesday, April 14th at 11:59 p.m. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please direct them to our president, Jenny, at her email.
Alrighty, so next we have graduation stools. For all graduating PPS members, we know that there's no better way to celebrate their times throughout the years, not only in college, but also here in PPS. There's no better way than having their own custom-made PPS stools. So the requirements are that you must be a graduating PPS paid member from UCI, and you also must have attended at least 3 PPS at UCI events. The price for the stools is $50 plus an extra $5 for shipping. If you are interested, you could fill out the Google form and send your payment to our Venmo, which is PPS at UCI by tonight at at 11:59. If you do have any questions or concerns, you could email our president, Jenny Nguyen, at her email right here.
And for our PPS fundraising corner, we have 2 fundraising events currently going. First is our Jamba Juice BOGO cards. So for $10, you can purchase a BOGO card, and for each drink you order, you get 1 free drink, so up to 6 free drinks total. If you're interested, please click the link attached on the slides or in our emails. Another fundraising event we have is our Krispy Kreme digital donuts. So for only $10, you can grab a dozen glazed donuts and have some yummy donuts while supporting our organization at the same time. If you're interested, you can place your order between 2 time frames, so weeks 1 through 3 and weeks 4 through 7. The orders will be distributed during weeks 4 and 8, depending on which time frame you choose. And if you're interested, please fill out the attached purchase form, and paid members will receive a stamp for participating. If you have any questions, please contact our fundraising chair, Ryan, at his email.
Alrighty, so an exciting thing is that today the applications for the PPS board is going to open after this general meeting, and it is available in our recent weekly email. The application is going to be due week 5, which is just about 2 weeks from now. And for an interview, it will be scheduled via availabilities listed on the application. So if you do have any other questions, comments, or concerns, feel free to contact the president, Jenny Nguyen, at the email listed below.
And if you'd like to stay connected with us or keep up to date with various events we have 6 different social media platforms. First is our Facebook, and then Discord servers, website, Instagram, Spotify collaborative playlist, and our Zoom study room that's open 24/7.
Alrighty, and now please help me to welcome Dana Lay, our External Vice President, Jenny Nguyen, our President, and Tiffany Nguyen, our Board Intern.
Hello, everyone. So sorry, my laptop is so laggy right now. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, awesome. And Jenny and Tiffany, if you could help me admit attendees during this presentation, that would be great. Okay, we'll go ahead and get started. So hi, everyone. Thanks for coming out today. Today, Jenny, Tiffany, and I will be presenting slides on how to become a pharmacy technician. So what exactly is a pharmacy technician? It's someone who performs pharmacy-related functions under the direct supervision of a licensed pharmacist. So pharmacy technicians typically fill medications, enter prescriptions, build insurance for the medications, help patients. They also call fax doctors for refills and a lot more. And also, depending on the state, there are different laws about what a pharm tech can exactly do. So why should you get your license? It allows you to be more competitive when applying for pharmacy-related jobs, and it is a requirement for many pharmacy technician jobs. It also allows you to directly work with and actively learn more about drugs. You get hands-on experience working with drugs as a pharmacy technician, and a lot of students who are in pharmacy school have said that getting their pharm tech license before entering pharmacy school was really helpful to them because they were able to gain a lot of experience handling the drugs and also learning about the top 200 drugs that they were later tested on. And getting the license also shows that you are committed to the pharmacy profession. Having the license proves to pharmacy schools that you have actively done something to learn more about the pharmacy profession and that you are truly committed in going to pharmacy school.
In order to become a pharmacy technician, you're going to have to complete a recognized training program. So this is a new requirement, well, not that new, but new for me. I guess it started in January of 2020, so I didn't have to do this when I applied, but it is a new requirement, and many of you have probably experienced already, or you can work. So some people work at CVS or Walgreens for 500 hours, and this can count for the training program, so it's one or the other. And for the working 500 hours, I would definitely contact the pharmacy to make sure that they do that program because not all pharmacies do this. So you definitely want to make sure with them before you plan for applying to get your pharm tech license. And then after you complete the training program or get the work experience, you'll have to pass the exam, of course. So this is like what we kind of prepare you for every other week when we ask the PTCE question of the week. And we'll also have some more sample questions at the end that Tiffany will go over. And then after you pass the exam and you get your score, you'll have to apply for the board license. And then after that, you can start looking for a job. Okay, so in order to apply, you have to qualify by completing this training program or the work experience. You'll have to be able to disclose all criminal and state board of pharmacy licensure actions and then comply with the certification policies. Of course, you have to meet the requirements. And then again, you'll have to pass the exam in order to qualify.
So the first step, in order to be eligible for the PTCE, you need to either complete a PTCB recognized education or training program, or like Jenny said, complete 500 hours of work. There are many PTCB recognized programs, and you can go to this link on the slide to look at all the different options. You will want to look at programs that are recognized for CPHT. And prior to COVID, you could either take some in person at a nearby college, or you can now, it's more common to enroll in an online course. Some cheaper online courses include RX Tech Exam and Pharmacy Tech Scholar. RX Tech Exam has access for 5 months, so it's self-paced. You can go through the program at your own pace to go through all the modules and then take the final, and that's $200 to $249. Typically, if you go on the website and you stay there for a little bit and then exit, they'll tell you, here's a coupon, so don't leave. So you can look out for that. And then there's also Pharmacy Tech Scholar that has 180-day access for $249. Dana and I have personally taken RX Tech Exam. It is expensive, but it is the faster route to getting this requirement done. And it's also really convenient to do during school. Otherwise, you can find a pharmacy that's willing to train you. This is a good reason to become a PPS paid member because you can try to find those pharmacies in our opportunity emails for paid members.
Okay, so when you are done studying and you're done with your training program, you can take the PTCE, so the exam, and you can take this at locations in person, or you can do it through an online proctored exam. So I just listed some close testing centers to UCI, just because I'm sure a lot of you may be at UCI or around Irvine. And there's also the proctored exam, like I said, which is through the Pearson website. And this is probably much more convenient during this time.
So here are some logistics of the exam. It's 90 multiple choice questions, but only 80 count. So, but you don't know exactly which ones don't count, so it's best to try to answer all of them. You have an hour and 50 minutes to answer. At the beginning of the exam, you will take a 5-minute tutorial, and then at the end, you'll take a 5-minute survey. And I believe once you finish the survey, then you get to see your results, just if you passed or not really your score. And there are no penalty for wrong answers, so make sure to answer everything.
Okay, so this is the breakdown of what topics will be covered in the exam and about how much it will cover in regard to like the percentage. So first is medications, and this is the biggest percentage of the exam, which makes sense. It's 40%, and then there's federal requirements, so like laws, and that's about 12.5%. And then there's patient safety and quality assurance, which is going to be 26%, and then order entry and processing, which is 21%. So if you are maybe limited on time, you kind of know what areas to focus on, but of course, like you want to study everything if you can. So here are some tips for the exam. Of course, you want to go over the important topics that I just mentioned. So there's laws and regulation, which is like the federal stuff I was saying, and then SIG codes, which Tiffany will go over later. But just to give an example, it's like when you get a prescription and it says like 1T, PO, QHS, PRN or something, you should know that that means 1 tab by mouth at bedtime as needed. And then there's also pharmacy calculations, and they gave me a piece of paper that I could just write on for my math. So that was pretty convenient. And then there's classification of medication. So that's the medication section of the exam. And then other things that you should do to prepare that aren't really topics is get a good night's sleep. Of course, this is like what you know. You take exams all the time, and it's important to get a good night's sleep. And then use common sense if you don't know the answer. You probably already know this, but sometimes they may ask a question that you didn't exactly study, but sometimes you can just use your common sense to kind of understand the question and what is the right answer. Read the questions carefully, use the scratchboard to do calculations. So that's what I was saying about how I had a whiteboard kind of to do my calculations for the math. And then be sure you answer everything, just because like what Tiffany said, there's no penalty if you get a question wrong. So you might as well answer all the questions. And then you can flag the questions you want to go back to, and make sure you practice every section, if possible, until you get at least 90% before moving on, just to make sure that you've almost mastered it.
So this slide is some study resources that we listed to help you guys when studying for the exam. This includes books, websites, and videos. I know everyone learns a little bit differently, so we try to include as many resources as possible. For me personally, I didn't want to pay for anything, so I didn't buy the books. I mainly went on the websites because these websites are for free, and they have everything from like flashcards to quizzes and practice exams. And also there's this video series of a nurse going over the top 200 drugs, which I found really useful. So in order to pass the PTCE, you need to get a score of 1400. And the range of possible scores goes from 1000 to 1600.
Okay, so now you've passed the PTCE, what do you do next? So passing the PTCE makes you a certified pharmacy technician, but it does not mean you are licensed. In order to apply for licensure, you have to collect several documents and complete the form on the Board of Pharmacy website. And I will be showing you what documents you will need on the next slide. So the application found on the Board of Pharmacy website is really thorough and walks you through what documents are accepted. So here are just the more common items that people typically choose to send in. First, you would need your high school transcript. I think it varies from high school to high school, but I ordered mine through Parchment because that's what my school used. It costs about $5 and it must be mailed to you, so make sure not to open it when it arrives. And then you will need a self-query report online, and you can fill out that form by going to the link in the application itself, in the pharmacy application on the Board of Pharmacy website. And this costs about $4. It's mailed to you as well, so don't open this envelope. And the application fee is $195. You can either write a check to the California State Board of Pharmacy or do a money order if you prefer. Next is a live scan receipt for getting your fingerprints done. If you click on the link on the slide, you can find multiple locations where you can get the live scan done. There's a service fee that ranges from $10 to $40, but there's also a processing fee that's $51. So I would recommend looking through the website that's linked on the slide and trying to go to the cheapest place possible. And then you will need to attach a passport style photo to your application. If you look online, many places offer this service, such as Costco or different pharmacies. I did mine at Walgreens and it was $15 for 2 photos. So maybe find somewhere cheaper. Of course, you will need to complete and print your application out. Make sure to fill it out really carefully. There's many details about common errors and how they want the form to be filled out. So you don't want your application to be delayed. Finally, you will need to print out your PTCB certificate from passing the PTCE. It costs $129 to register for the PTCE. And overall, the total cost is $399 to $439. Please note that this total doesn't include the price for the PTCB recognized program if you do choose to take that route. And it also doesn't include the price to ship your full application to the Board of Pharmacy. I would recommend purchasing mail that includes tracking to ensure that your application makes it there safely. There are much more details in the application, so just be sure to read through it carefully.
So you've got your license, now what? The step 4 is to finally apply for your pharmacy technician job. One way you can get job opportunities is by becoming a PPS paid member. We send out bi-weekly opportunity emails with a ton of opportunities for CVS, Rite Aid, Walgreens, and also some independent pharmacies. And also ask your peers who already have pharmacy technician jobs to see if their place is hiring. And you can also get some insider information for them to see if it's actually a good place to work at. And you can also search for any retail or independent pharmacies around your area and call them or even visit them in person to see if they're hiring. And a lot of these places have online applications, so you can also search it up on websites just like Google if they do have online applications.
Okay, so regarding the renewal of your farm tech license, sometimes this can be a bit confusing just because it's not a set deadline to when it actually expires. So the first time you get your license is not going to last 2 years exactly. It just lasts 1 year from the month you receive it to your next birthday. So the best time to get your license is right after your birthday. So just to give an example to maybe make it more clear is that my birthday is in December. So if I get my license in November and I have 1 year and then the time until my next birthday, I only have a year and a month until it expires. But if I get my license in January, then I have a whole year. So 1 year until my birthday, which is in December. So 1 year and 11 months. So that's a huge difference. So that's why I would encourage you to get it after your birthday. But of course, like if you want to get a job, you want to get it now. So it's really up to you. And then there's going to be a renewal fee of $140. So you have to put in more money, which is really unfortunate. But hopefully, if you get a farm tech job, it pays off and it becomes worth it. And the experience, of course. And then in order to qualify, you'll have to complete 20 hours of continuing education. And 1 hour must be from pharmacy law, CE credit, and then 1 hour must be from patient safety. So it's pretty important for you to learn these things, which is why they make it required, but it's only one of the 20 hours. And then you'll also receive a letter in the mail about 90 days before your license expires, just to remind you. So it's not a huge deal if you forget when it expires, and you could always check online as well. I know sometimes I look up like my license number because my boss asked for it, and then it also says when my license expires. So that's an easy way to check. And then they don't want you to renew your license more than 60 days prior to the expiration date. So that's just something to keep in mind. And then we also linked the renewal application for you. Okay, so now we have some testimonials before we go into the sample questions. We have Harold and Clayton recorded, but before we show their video, I do want to share a little bit about my experience, just because we all work in different settings. It may be a bit interesting. So Harold works in a compound pharmacy, I believe, and then Clayton works at CVS. I work at an independent pharmacy. So I got my license during my first year, and I studied first and then I took the exam. Luckily, I didn't have to do the training program. So that process was pretty straightforward for me when I applied to get my license. And I actually found my independent pharmacy job through PPS opportunity emails. So thank you, PPS, for that. And I've been working there for a little bit over 3 years. And I also work at the vaccine clinic at the Brenz Event Center as a pharm tech as well. And I started that January of this year. So it's only been like 4 months, 3 or 4 months, but I really enjoy it. And I want to emphasize that it's really important to get experience if you can, just because you want to see what the setting is like. And like Dr. Kentai said last week, like if you don't like working at one place, go try another place because it's not the same. Like I'm not going to say which one I like more, but I like one a lot more than the other one. So it's definitely good to get experience at different places. And even though it's the same position, you might do different things in different settings. So I would definitely suggest for you to try it out, just so you can kind of see if you like it or not. I know some people that work as a tech and they're like, I don't want to be a pharmacist anymore. And that's perfectly fine. I think it's great as long as you figure out what you want. So yeah, get experience.
Hi everyone, my name is Clayton and I'm one of your social chairs. I received my pharmacy technician's license in December of 2020.
Hello everyone, I'm Harold and I'm the historian. I received my pharmacy technician's license in March of 2020.
I wanted to get my pharmacy technician's license because I wanted to gain some experience in the pharmacy setting in preparation for pharmacy school. With my technician's license, I am now currently working as a pharmacy technician at CVS, where I help fill medications as well as help patients drop off and pick up their medications. With the pharmacy technician license, I feel that I'm able to learn more about the patient-pharmacist interaction, as well as learn more about the retail setting.
So right now with my pharmacy technician's license, I am getting work experience. So as of right now, I am working in a compounding pharmacy as well as shadowing the pharmacist there. In my compounding pharmacy, we typically take orders from customers that need their drugs in a certain form, which they cannot get in a retail setting. So I think I like this compounding pharmacy because you're able to interact with the patients a lot more, as well as be able to suit their needs.
If there were one thing that I wish I knew before filling out the application for the farm tech license, it would probably be how long the process actually takes to get all the paperwork filled out and ready to be sent in. If I had some advice to give for people interested in getting a farm tech license, it would probably be to start early in order to ensure that all your paperwork gets in on time, because there's certain paperwork that needs to be ordered for the application.
So for the farm tech application, you're going to have a lot of forms to deal with as well as fill out. So what I suggest people do when they fill it out is to make sure they have a checklist with everything that they need to have done, as well as make sure it's filled out correctly, because if it's not filled out correctly, your forms will be delayed, as well as you might not even get a form and they'll ask you to reapply, which takes 2 to 3 months.
Hi everyone, my name is
All right, now we have Tiffany, who's going to go over some sample PTCE questions so that you can get an idea of what might be on your exam.
Okay, so like Jenny mentioned, zip codes are an important part of interpreting prescriptions. And if you would like to participate, you can either unmute or type the answers in the chat for this one. So does anyone know what PO means? Yep, that's right. Quay and Ali got it. It means by mouth, and this is an oral route of administration. Does anyone know what IEN means? Okay, so this one might be, I guess, oh, okay. So this one actually means in each nostril. So this is a nasal route of administration. You could think of this like nasal sprays or decongestants. And then does anyone know what OU means? Oh, so we're close. It actually means, yeah, both eyes. Yeah, so I like to think of it as O looks like an eyeball sort of. And then the second letter that comes is either U, D, or S. U means both. And then D stands for dexter or right. And S stands for sinister or left. So if you put it together, eyeballs and both means both eyes. Does anyone know what OD means? Yeah, that's right. OD, like I said, O is like an eyeball shape, and then D is dexter or right. Good job. Does anyone know what AS means? Yep, that's right. It means left ear. So A stands for auditory. And then again, S is sinister or left. So all the ones on the left are routes of administration or just like how a medication is taken. And then does anyone know what cap or caps means? Yep, that's right. It means capsules. So this is, yep, that's right, Quay. It's a dosage form or just a form of a medication. Does anyone know what GTTS means? Yes, Rosanna got it. It means drops, and this is a system of measurement. You can also think of other examples like grams or fluid ounces. Does anyone know what PC means? Okay, so Melissa got it. It means after meals, and this is just a frequency. P, if you break it down, P means after, and then C means with. Does anyone know what BID or bid means? Yep, that's right. It means twice a day. So you can break it down as, or bi-daily. So stands for bi or two, and then D stands for daily, and this is another frequency. And then finally, does anyone know what PA means? This one might be a little less common. So PA, although those are really good guesses, PA means pain. And this is just one of the more miscellaneous SIG codes. So yay, good job. Okay, so the next question we have is more of a medications-based category. Which of the following medication classes is considered high alert? A, antibiotics, B, anticoagulants, C, antidepressants, or D, vaccines. And you should see a poll on your screen, so go ahead and take about 30 seconds to answer that. Any last guesses? Oh. Okay, and the correct answer was B, anticoagulants. So good job, everyone. So high alert medications are medications that bear a high risk of causing significant patient harm when they are used in error. Some other high alert medication classes include chemotherapeutic agents and hypoglycemics. So this, you can find this list online to study for the PTCE. There's a whole bunch of different categories for like high alert or other ISMP medications you should know. And then the next question we have is, which of the following pairs of medications belong to the same class? A, Lipitor and simvastatin, B, omeprazole and metronidazole, C, Tylenol and ibuprofen, or D, Celebrex and Celexa. So this one's a little more tricky. Okay, I'll give it about 10 more seconds. Okay, so it looks like everybody chose C, Tylenol and ibuprofen. So the correct answer is actually A, Lipitor and simvastatin. So a large part of the PTCE is knowing drug generics and their brand names, as well as other aspects of drugs, such as their classes or what they treat. Lipitor is the brand name for atorvastatin, and atorvastatin and simvastatin are both HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors, or they lower your cholesterol, basically. So a little trick for that is both generics end in the word statin, so that usually indicates that they're both HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors. So that's just a little trick to memorize these types of drugs. And as you can see from this question, you do kind of need to know them back and forth to do well. And then B is omeprazole is a proton pump inhibitor, while metronidazole is an antibiotic. And we might think of Tylenol and ibuprofen as the same in a sense because we use them for pain, but Tylenol is actually the brand name for acetaminophen, and acetaminophen is an analgesic and antipyretic. Ibuprofen is an NSAID, so they're different classes. And finally, Celebrex is a COX-2 selective NSAID, while Celexa is an SSRI or antidepressant. The last two drugs are actually ISMP lookalike or sound-alike drugs, so those are important drugs to study as well. Okay, and the next question we have is the pharmacy technician notices that a dosage may be typed wrong in the system. The reading says 0.1 grams, but it should probably say 0.01 grams, as 0.1 may be too large of a dose. What should the technician do in this situation? A, call and ask the physician if it is the correct dose. B, ask the patient. C, alert the pharmacist to verify. Or D, go ahead and change the dosage. Okay, go ahead and take about 10 more seconds to get your guess in. Okay, and it looks like everybody chose alert the pharmacist to verify. And that is the correct answer. So this is usually the pretty safe answer choice. Part of the PTCE is studying what a pharmacy technician can and cannot do. For instance, in this case, they can't change the dosage, and they can, or other examples include they can't verify prescriptions, counsel patients, and so forth. So like Jenny mentioned, if you are unsure about a particular question, you can kind of use common sense in this case, and alerting the pharmacist is usually the way to go. So good job. And finally, the last question we have is if you are filling a prescription for a child covered on his mother's prescription insurance, which relationship holder code would you use when submitting a claim to the insurance for reimbursement? A, 2, B, 0, C, 3, or D, 1? This one's a bit trickier if you've never actually done this, so just give your best guess. Okay, I'll give it 10 more seconds. And it seems like everybody mostly chose 0, 2, and the correct answer is actually 3. So the 3 code is used when submitting a claim for a dependent. The 00 code is used when an insurance company doesn't require a code to be submitted. 01 is used when submitting a claim for the actual cardholder, so that would be the mother in this case. And 02 is when submitting a claim for the spouse. So that's all the questions we have. And thank you for listening to our presentation. Do you have any questions?
Hi, I actually had a question. Okay. So my question is, when we're applying for licensure after we've taken the PTCE exam, and we have the PTCE certificate that we're supposed to include in the parcel, do we submit the actual certificate or a scan or copy of it?
I guess I can go first. So on the PTCB website, you make an account and there's like an option on there to view your certificate. So what I did is I printed it from there and then I added that to my packet to send in. So I don't think there's any official thing you have to get from the PTCB board or anything.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry, Jenny, were you going to say something?
I said me too.
I have a question. Can you guys leave a link for the slides today? Or for Jenny's email address, so I can get the slides.
I can send the slides in the chat. That's what you wanted, right, Alan?
Yeah, that'll be.
Okay.
The slides are always also available on the PPS website if you guys want to check out any slides from previous meetings as well.
I actually have a quick question. So when we obtain like the certificate, is it can we hold on to it and then choose to apply for the actual like licensure like in a couple weeks, or is there like a deadline like once you receive the certificate?
I believe there is a deadline, but I don't recall what it is. Do any of you know what the deadline is?
I believe it's 2 years, but I don't want to misspeak. So maybe look up on that. But yeah, you can definitely take at least throughout the year if you don't want to apply right away. I got the certificate in January and I just applied over spring break. So it's been a few months. So no worries, you don't have to do it right away.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Just to clarify, the membership fee is like $10, right? On Venmo.
I believe it's $15.
Okay. Gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm. Any other questions?
The Venmo is PPS at UCI on Wednesdays, right? Right? Is that right?
That's like the name, yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure I got the info right. So, yeah. All right. Thank you, guys.
You're welcome. Thank you for the questions.
No problem, dude.
If y'all ever have like questions, you can always email us or message us as well.
So there's a question in the chat from Isabella. She said, I'm unsure if it's exactly related, but what are your most memorable moments as farm techs? So I think Jenny can answer that one.
I would say for me, it's working at the vaccine clinic just because I feel like very useful, I guess, because right now there's a big need for the vaccine and stuff, and being a part of the process is very touching. You see a lot of patients, and all the patients that come in are so excited to get their vaccine, and you're just like, wow, I wish other people were so excited to get the vaccine. And they're so happy, like even after they get their shot, they're like, oh, thank you so much. And then you get to meet so many different people, like pharmacists, and I've met some of our guest speakers there. So just thinking, I've met Dr. Erin Knox, I've met Dr. Susie Park from USC. You meet a lot of people and you're like, hey, like you presented to my organization. So it's really cool. You meet pharmacists, you meet techs, you meet other students. It's just a really nice and supportive environment, which I feel is like so important for your work. And so I really enjoy it. And I feel like that's my memorable moment as a whole.
Okay, so I haven't started working necessarily as a technician,
But I do want to say that while I was studying for the PTCE, it was a really valuable experience because I did learn more about actual drugs and what a pharmacy technician does. For instance, in learning the top 200 drugs, I started to read and understand about what different medication classes do and how, for instance, other drugs can interact and what drugs shouldn't be taken and what you might want to look out for while you are working as a technician. And as for a more memorable moment, I did feel really achieved when I passed the PTCE. So that is my memorable moment so far.
Hi, so just have a general question to ask. I know like 200 drugs is a lot for a lot of people to like memorize and study. Do you have any like tips or advice that you used or anything you used to help you with the process of memorizing the drugs?
That's a really good question. My answer is very brief because I only did this, but I use Quizlet because people make like study sets already, which is super helpful so that you don't have to go to all the effort to making it. Unless like writing it out actually helps you, then it's good for you. But for me, I just went through the slides and then tried my best to memorize as much as I can.
Same to Jenny, I also use Quizlet to try and memorize the drugs. And also in the PowerPoint, I linked a YouTube playlist to a nurse who goes over the top 200 drugs. I went through the videos and took notes on them because he goes through them pretty well. He starts off by doing them in different categories. So like drugs that have to do with like the cardiovascular system or drugs that deal with just like different parts of the body. So he organizes it through categories. And I think it's a little bit easier to learn that way.
So I think that learning the drugs was definitely intimidating to me because it's just so much information to take in. But like Dana and Jenny said, I use Quizlet as well. I think what helped me the most was to really break it down day by day. And a big part of memorizing the drugs was simply repetition for me. I think it's really hard to think about how you can connect the words Lipitor and atorvastatin. It just doesn't really connect, but when you repeat it to yourself over and over, that's what helped me memorize the drugs eventually. And also, if you look up the different parts of a drug name, like I mentioned, statins and HMG are words that end in statin are HMG-CoA reductase inhibitors. I think learning the endings of the drugs names definitely helped me categorize which drugs belong to which class. And just personally, I think that understanding classes better also helps you associate different drugs into their categories. So for instance, proton pump inhibitors, if you really go into it, then you can understand that they help with acid reflux. So I just associated those drugs with those.
And then this might be a little bit out there, but I was wondering, while you guys were studying for the PTCE, did you have a favorite section that you really wanted to dive into? Like, oh, pharmacy law, that's my thing, you know?
I would say for me personally, my favorite section was the math section, just because I like math. So I really enjoyed doing that part, but it's just normal calculations. I just a note about law, I did not like law at all.
Same with me. I didn't care much for the laws because I'm not as interested in that, I guess. Well, when I took the PTCE. Oh my gosh. They actually changed their exam from when Jenny took hers. So the categories were a little bit different. They kind of like smashed some categories together, I guess, and got rid of some others. But I guess one of my favorite categories were just like the medication categories. I think that one takes up most of the exam. It's like 40%, 50%, I believe. And yeah, I just thought it was so cool how I could start connecting medication names to what they actually do. For example, like Tiffany was mentioning earlier about statins. I was like, oh yeah, all these drugs end in statin, but like I have no clue why. So yeah, I thought it was pretty cool how you can kind of start like, I guess, making those connections. And also when you start taking upper division pharm sci classes in your third year, that's when you really get to see how all these drugs interact with the body. And I just thought it was so cool while studying for the exam.
I'm with Dana. I think the medications was also my favorite category, even though it kind of drove me crazy studying all the medications. At the same time, it was really interesting and cool to go to the store like CVS or Target and then recognize drug names on like the shelves. And then another part of that is when you take organic chemistry, a lot of the drug names actually appear in the textbook. And I just found that really cool to recognize them and think, oh, this is what they do. And now I actually am learning about how they actually work on the molecular level.
I also wanted to add something. So Dana was mentioning like the test changed for her from when I took it. And something I wanted to know about that is about every 4 years, they send out this survey for pharm techs to take, and it asks them questions about what they do in their setting or like as their job. So they use the question or they use the results from that survey to kind of get a good idea of what pharm techs do most heavily. And then they may change their exam breakdown to kind of reflect that to make sure that you are prepared for being a pharm tech. And then something else I want to know, it's kind of a funny story, but in your pharm sci classes, you learn about drugs. And I feel like if you can, like try your best to memorize them because it's really helpful. Like at the pharmacy that I work at, we have some interns and my pharmacist was asking about metformin and he's like, do you use metformin for type 1 or type 2 diabetes? And they're like, and I was like, I just learned this in my class. So it's like type 2. But I didn't, of course, I didn't say that because that would just be rude to the interns. But I was just like, it's really nice that I know this stuff when they're also learning it. And so, yeah, if you can try your best to like focus and learn the material that you can in your pharm sci classes, I think it'll be super helpful.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys, for that insight. It's very cool to see, you know, what kind of interest you guys had in the PTCE initially, and then how that developed into you eventually passing the test. So congratulations. I hope to be in your shoes one day. I have like my 2 books right here. We'll see. Oh, well, they're invisible, but they're right there.
Yes, thank you so much, everyone, for the great questions. So if anyone does have any extra questions, feel free to reach out to either me, Tiffany, or Jenny, and I'm sure we'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And I just wanted to thank the both of them for presenting today. It was really great. You guys did an amazing job.
You
Can we
too.
get a round of applause for doing heart reactions? I'll do one too. Yay! Okay, and also thank you so much everyone for coming today. I hope you guys were able to learn more about the profession of being a pharmacy technician and all the pathways that you can take in order to get your license. And before you guys go, can we get a quick group photo?
Hey everyone, I'm gonna take the group photo. So I'll count down. So 3, 2, 1, cheese. Beautiful, thank you.
Alrighty, and as promised, I will have the link to the Riddle Me Challenge. Let me share my screen real quick. So this is a challenge that is going to have a winner at banquet. So I'm going to explain the rules again really quick. So at the end of the meeting, we will be sending out our URL link or QR code that will lead you directly to the real Google form. And in the Google form, there's going to be 3 riddles ranging in difficulty levels and also point levels. For the points, you don't have to answer all the riddles, but remember you can gain extra points for being the fastest to turn in your Google form with the correct answers. And the person with the most points will win an extra raffle ticket for the equal opportunity drawing at Banquet. So this is going to be the start of the riddles week 2. And sorry, let me copy and paste the riddle link real quick. My copy and paste has been really wonky, so hopefully it will let me paste in the chat. We'll see. Ooh, it works. Okay, so go ahead and submit your riddles. And that's it for the meeting today. Thank you for coming out, everyone.
These riddles are hard. I don't know any of them.
Yeah, I'm trying to do them right now.
What's the last one?
I got all of
What
them except for
is
the
this?
last one.
What is
What's the last one?
It is level 3, so
My mind doesn't turn that way at all.
I feel like this could be a lot of them.
yeah.
Hmm.
The answer for 2 sounds like the answer for 3. I'm like, I don't know who else. I'm just watching Plon on my phone. I literally have no clue what's going on. He's so annoying. He's like, there's going to be participation in class. I'm going to send out surprise quizzes, but he doesn't. So I don't know what's going on.
It's week 2.
I cannot believe it's already April. It is so fast.
Yeah. Already week 2.
That means there's only 6 more weeks of PPS. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
It zooms by so fast towards the end.
It'll be exciting.
I'm
Nice
excited.
haircut, Tyler. What did you say, Dana? You're excited for Banquet? Yeah. Same.
Oh, hi, Howard. What's up?
Don't mind me. I'm trying to fill out this riddle thingy.
I don't know. I have zero idea.
I don't
guess.
either.
I took a shot in the dark and I think I found it, but I don't know. I might be wrong.
I don't even watch Disney related stuff.
Wait, it's Disney. Oh shit.
Wait, yeah.
I thought
right.
it's just a random thing.
That's our theme, Ryan.
I know it's our theme, but I didn't know the riddle is Disney related.
I knuckle.
So I was like, what? Oh my god.
I just see one street and I'm like, Martin Luther King, once upon a time I had a dream.
Bruh. Bruh.
Mean.
God.
What?